KCAA Loma Linda.
I'm glad she's here on the show. But before we give her a full introduction, we're going to give a shout out to our quick sponsors real quick.
Our sponsor tonight is snjradio.com. No negative news, no politics, just feel good music.
Yes, go check him out, guys. He plays all sorts of music from oldies to news to classics, everything.
Real good guy.
Yeah, and we are also on that station as well. So
Yep.
just look up snjradio.com. And you can even request music as well. So it's a fun interactive radio station. So, is she on the air right now?
I am here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, you're here. How you doing?
Fine. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for calling in. I really appreciate you sending me the book, by the way. I love it. I think when I saw it in the mail and I opened it up, I was like, wow, you know what? It's actually very vibrant, colorful, small, useful, and I like it. There's a lot of pictures. It's very user-friendly, obviously. I'm surprised it wasn't like a pop-up picture book. Just kidding.
Are you surprised also there's not palm trees and sunshine on the cover for it?
Tell me about, yeah. See, honestly, that's another good thing, though, because it's not so cliche, right? Like when people really think of LA, they do think of palm trees and like yellow Lamborghinis and girls in bikinis. But this is the more like realistic Los Angeles. You got all these little Tokyo on the back cover, the food that's out there, and the front cover as well. What building is that, by the way?
Oh, that's actually in my neighborhood. It's Wacko, So Plant, La Luz de Jesus Gallery. It's actually 3 different stores in one, and they have a long history. They used to be on Melrose, and what's funny is I wasn't even the person to select it. They gave me some options, and I had some ideas, and then this one rose to the top, and I said, hey, that's my neighborhood, and that's one of my favorite stores. So it feels like it was meant to be.
That is awesome. So the name of the book is 52 Things to Do in Los Angeles, Local Spots, Outdoor Recreation, and Getaways. I think that's pretty cool. And I have a little backstory. So we took my sister to LAX because she's in the military. She went to Coast Guard, whatever. And we went to LA for the day before we went to go drop her off. And at the end of the night, we're driving home, and I was with my mom. And she was like, there's so many things to do in LA, but like, how do we know what's out here unless like we know someone that's in LA and that tells us about all these spots, And literally the next day, your agent calls me. He's like, hey, I have this person. She has a book called 52 Things to Do in LA. And I was like, that's so funny. Like my mom was just wondering what there is to do in LA. So I'm glad he called me. I'm glad we have you on the show. And I'm sure my mom's listening too. So we're going to give out some pretty good ideas of what we can do out here. And are you born and raised in LA, or give us a little background about yourself?
Yeah, I'm actually speaking from my childhood home. I was born and raised, Southern California. So I was in LA City in my childhood, and then we went to South Bay, and I also was and you'll see this represented in the book. Like I was briefly in Ventura County, and then Orange County for college, and then back here for more than 25 years. So, but my home base was always my Lola and Lola's house, so grandmother and grandfather, who lived in East Hollywood in the same home. Pretty much they immigrated to when they came from the Philippines, and that was like where my heart was, where I was raised with my cousins and my titas and titas. But before I go, and I must say I listened to your earlier shows, and your mom has the birthday the day before mine.
Oh, really?
So belated to her. I'm on the 26th. Am I correct? Your mom's born on the 25th?
Yeah, on the 25th. That's awesome. And she's also a Filipino, too, so you guys should hang out sometime.
I know, so go Capricorn. Maybe she and I should be friends, too. We're both mothers.
That's awesome. So if I may ask, like, what made you want to write a book about L.A.?
Well, it goes beyond the book. I've been writing about the city for more than 20 years, and I've written for other guidebooks. I've co-edited a guidebook on LA parks. But this came up just during when we were under lockdown. I was just looking for additional work, and I saw a random listing on Craigslist, 52 things to do in Los Angeles. And coincidentally, it was a publisher who had owned my previous book 19 years ago on women warriors. But LA is really mostly what I write about, arts and culture, communities. I just really love getting stories from, like on the street pretty much. In Los Angeles, we have a wealth of them here, obviously.
That's awesome. And with all these 52 things to do, have you done all these things, or at least most of these things that you've put on here?
Well, most of it's been over a course of time. Some things go back generations that I was introduced to by, say, my grandparents, in terms of like bakeries in Chinatown. And then there are things that my daughter loves or my husband loves. Like my husband's obsessed with the Magic Castle. And I didn't know that they actually offer magic classes there. So that's one of the things that came from him. People told me about a drag show at Idle Hour in North Hollywood. So it's been really, part family history, recommendations, or things I run into on the street that later become a story. So it's been, and I'm still discovering. Obviously, it says 52 things, but as you know, one experience could mean 20 things that you come across. Like the LA River, we've got the river running through a certain neighborhood, like, Los Feliz, Griffith Park, things that people are familiar with. But there's been a lot of development on both sides of the river, so there are new eateries and bars and cool parks that have been built over the years, especially, as the Olympics are coming. So there's so much more to discover in each experience. But what's nice is most of these experiences you can do, some a couple hours. The getaways could be, a weekend jaunt, like super manageable, at least in my opinion, and often very affordable, which is good.
Right, and that's pretty important, especially in today's prices and inflation. So,
Right.
No doubt.
yeah, one of the places that we go all the time is actually Little Tokyo down in LA.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, it is a smaller area, but it's very like it's cute in my eyes. Like a lot of people, and a lot of them are not even like Asian. Like a lot of white people, they come to experience that type of culture as well, and they come down, and we always taste different foods there, and I always buy stuff like so we're all Filipino, and I was trying to find something for my cousin for Christmas, and he's into like action figures and stuff, and in Little Tokyo, and I'm sure other places as well, they have like anime action figures and stuff like that, and they go from pretty pennies.
Oh, I know. Did you line up? We were just there a couple weeks ago. My daughter actually went to preschool in Little Tokyo, but yeah, we saw the lineups for those toys.
Man.
And there's shoes too. There's a lot of shoe stores now there too.
What are some of the places that you highly recommend going?
In Little Tokyo?
Just in LA in general.
Oh, in general. Well, there's there's the ones that you guys are fans of music too. There's Zanku Chicken, of course, Armenian-owned chain, but you really should go to the original one in Hollywood, and Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, which is on Gower. Again, the Hollywood location, or those are sort of, must-visit places in terms of locals.
Like, for example, let's say if we wanted to find some like entertainment or do something kind of like spontaneous, I was going through the book, and there is a place where they do like dance classes. I forgot what page that was on. I gotta look for it. I think it was on page number 30. But there's a lot of things to do in LA that I'm like, okay, I've never done that before. And there's things I've never even heard before, and I didn't even know LA was that big in terms of like what there is to do.
Oh yeah.
One of the fascinating things that I saw was number 30. It says find unexpected art and cultures in LA cemeteries.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's a nice reminder, and those you can pass by most of the time during the week. Yeah, it doesn't here in LA. Doesn't have to be a totally somber occasion. There, of course, Hollywood Forever is a cool place to visit always. There's a lot of famous people buried there with interesting sculptures, perhaps in the front, like one of the Ramones is there. And then they have movie screenings, I think, through the year, and also there's concerts held in one of the halls there. Over in North Hollywood, there's an interesting, it's like an aviation shrine. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the name right now, but there's, it's all prominent people from the aviation history, and it has a super tiny little museum in two corners. It's a really remarkable structure. It's just remarkable. It reminds me a little of the Dome at Palace of Fine Arts in San Francisco.
Mm.
And then one of my other favorites, just outside of LA, is Forest Lawn, Glendale. They have a museum there that's really, you never know what to expect there. I had first covered it because they had a David Bowie photography exhibit, but then months later they had a Charlie Brown exhibit. Most recently, they had a really wonderful overview of Bob Baker's marionettes, the famous marionette theater that was based here, or still based here in Los Angeles. So that's a really interesting place, and it's on the top of the hill. You might have seen it if you've gone to Griffith Park or Burbank.
Oh, right, yeah.
And there's the cross at the top, and honestly, I didn't know that there was a museum there, and I'd lived in the area for already 15 years before I went there. So things just in front of you, you never, step foot in, might have really surprising things in store. And that's one prime example.
Paul, do you have anything?
Yeah, I was telling Sam earlier, actually, because Sam was actually showing me this number in the book. And I was telling him that especially Spanish gravestones tell a mural sometimes. There's a mural on them that actually tells them a story of what they like to do or their favorite thing to do. And, it kind of puts you kind of in those shoes back then, especially for older gravestones. So I thought it was interesting that you put that in the book because, yeah, there's also a lot of stuff that you can find on individual gravestones, too.
Oh, yeah. My parents are actually, I was raised Catholic, and over at sorry about that, now I'm actually blanking on the name of the cemetery, but there's a lot of famous people there, and as a kid, we'd always walk over to read their stories. Sad, but also, to commemorate them, it's nice to take the time to look.
Yeah, I've only been to one cemetery, out of just the will of hey, let's go to a cemetery. It was during October, spooky season. So I definitely got to check that out. But I think I found what I was talking about. It says here, if you don't mind me reading for a second, it says, learn some new moves at Dance Downtown LA. And it says, why go? LA's Music Center is one of the city's most iconic performing art venues and offers the biggest and friendliest dance class you'll experience in the city's gratis. And I see that you have amazing pictures of people and the structures and the food that they have and everything. And I actually talked to one of my friends recently about going to a dance class. And we don't like being in the city. We're here in Redlands and Yucaipa, which is about an hour?
About an hour and a half.
Yeah, about an hour and a half from LA. And we like to venture out, because we don't want to see the same people over and over again. And I know LA, I love, one of my favorite things to do is people watch. And
same.
Yeah? Yeah, so in LA.
Where do you like to go?
My favorite place when I was younger, I used to people watch with my grandpa, was actually in Santa Barbara. But, because it's very Santa Barbara has this persona and it's very classy and stuff. But LA has so many characters. You can't say anyone out there is the average Joe,
That's true.
Because if you just sit down and just look at the next people that walk, they have character to them. No, there's no thing as normal out in LA, which is, to me, I think is a great thing, right? Because it gives you a place to really express yourself, and you don't have to dress a certain way, And
I love that you get that. Just recently there's been this new phenomenon where there's a bunch of guys who actually juggle in the intersections during stoplights.
Really?
When we're to stop, yeah. And of course, it's one of those things of course that's happening here.
I know. You're only in LA, right?
Yeah. But I'm a real fan too. Downtown's a great place to people watch, Union Station, and yeah, Dance downtown LA is one of my favorite events. Obviously, there's sunshine most of the year, but during summer, there's huge festivals, and that Dance TLA series happens for, I think, 8 weeks, and you can come I think it's each Saturday or Friday it might be, and they have a different themed dance lesson. So I think they'll have like Bollywood. They even had K-pop. They had Motown, and it's not pretentious at all. People of all ages go, and it's just super fun to just dance with a few hundred people. There's really nothing like it.
Yeah, that's something I haven't done, but it's definitely on my bucket list.
Okay, well, I'm going to look out for you when it starts in the summer season.
Yeah, give me a call. I think that'll be really cool. I'll take my mom with me, and then y'all can, introduce each other and see how you guys are. My mom used to go to like the gym and like participate in like the Zumba classes.
Oh, she's more active than me. I love that. She can show us some moves then.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we saw the Temptations this past weekend over in Beverly Hills, and
oh, amazing.
she was so embarrassed because she had like these dirty Crocs. She was like, I hope no one looks at my feet. I'm like, Mom, you're good. Like, come on, let's go. We didn't want to miss it.
I'm just loving your. Since you're Filipino, have you visited Hi-Fi at all, or historic Filipino town?
No.
Rather?
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, there's I mentioned it a few times in the book, but it's the neighborhood is designated as such because there's a history of Filipinos living there, and now it's really, to some people's dismay, it made one of those top 10 cool neighborhoods, but it's more than, the hipster bars and restaurants that have come there, though we love them too. We know people who own them, but what's really cool is there's actually a couple organizations that put on a lot of great events, and one of them is Filipino Worker Center, which has this jeepney. From what we know, it's the only working one in the United States. I'm not sure if that's changed, but they offer a tour of Hi-Fi, which includes historic sites, like even where the World War II veterans would hang out. They hung out at the McDonald's wearing their members-only jackets and their their trucker hats, which I have memories of seeing them there. It also goes by this mural in Unidad Park by Eliseo Art Silva, which is the biggest Filipino-American mural in the country, which is in this wonderful pocket park. And, that had been there since the 80s. And again, I wasn't introduced to it until my daughter actually attended Filipino summer camp years ago. So it's, it's interesting how you come across things in the city. Sometimes they come in that form, or you're driving by and then you just pull over and you look and you're like, why didn't anyone tell me this was here? So hopefully my book will introduce a lot of locals too about things that might just be, a block away and you didn't know it. Mm-hmm. But it's, certainly a sense of pride for us to see it, now be talked about so much, and it's a cool place to go. And yeah, you and your family should definitely check it out, or anyone rather, not just Filipino Americans.
Yeah, we definitely will. My mom, she's half Filipino, and her mom was like born in the Philippines, but I lived here my whole life, and so I'm a little whitewashed, right? And there's this girl that I dated, and she loved Asians. And I was kind of like, honestly, that was kind of like my pickup line. I went up to her and I said, hey, I heard you like Asians. And she said yes. I was like, I'm Filipino. But then like she started hitting me with all these questions, and it was like, oh, have you tried this, or do you know this, and da 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 da. And I was like, to be honest, I'm so whitewashed. Like, like I just look a little Asian. Funny. I don't really know much of the Asian
you're
culture.
Asian enough, and yeah, I don't know if you'd want to be dating someone who just liked Asian people. That's kind of weird.
I mean, that's what she's kind of like drawn into, because she loves the Asian culture, No,
and I completely understand. And am I correct? Are both your families, you have immigrants on both sides?
So my mom...
Or not on both sides, but Kyle too?
Yes, I do. Both of my grandparents on my mom's side were born in Mexico. and I'm 50% Mexican, 50% French. And my grandfather, my dad's dad, was actually born in Canada, and my grandma, I want to say she was born in Massachusetts, but her parents are from either France or Canada. And so I grew up with some good food.
What was that?
I said I grew up with some good food from both sides. Um, really, I was raised mostly by my mom, but I do live with my dad. I take care of him, and I also grew up Catholic, and so we used to go to Olvera Street every November
Oh,
for
I
Day of
love
the
that.
Dead. Yeah,
Yeah,
we used to say,
that's actually in the book. Like when
yeah,
they have one of the longest celebrations. I think maybe 8 days, at
it's
least
like
a
8 to
week.
10 days. Yeah, and if we had a family member who died, then we stayed there. We went to the old church. We prayed for them, and then
Oh,
we ate.
I love that.
That's one of my earliest memories. And then my dad's side, I never really got to explore that French side until last December, when I went to New Orleans, and so that was a really cool experience for me. But now that I'm trying to get more in touch, I do have a question for you. Um, where are some places that experience French culture in LA?
French culture. That's sort of where I'm perhaps not the expert on that, although there
Okay,
are a lot of French-owned, not just French restaurants, but French-owned restaurants.
right.
Um, I there, I mean, I can tell you where to go for fun places for happy hour that sort of like in our neighborhood. This there's Figaro Bistro, which is a fun happy hour. They have a
Okay.
nice patio area too, and I love their French onion soup. I know this is very basic, but cool, and their pastries are great. Um, there are actually quite a few French schools, but in terms of the community, I think they sort of go also where everyone else goes. There's
Yeah,
just
it's true.
favorite bars,
Yeah.
and we all gather at different museums and different parks. I think that's where you'll find everybody,
You know, I'm
parks especially.
I'm surprised that LA doesn't have like a mini like Eiffel Tower somewhere.
I'm
Well,
t-
we have
I'm
the
saying, I'm
Hey, we
saying
have the observatory and the Hollywood sign
that's
and all
true.
those old buildings.
That's very true.
Yeah, otherwise it's different. I mean, you can tell when you drive around Los Angeles. Our architecture can be quite. Um, they don't all go together, but I think that's the beauty of
Hmm.
this place too. Some things that don't seem to come together actually last for a long time here, and it's nice that variety and just sometimes a little off, a little
Hmm.
wacky, but
You,
it keeps things entertaining.
you know what I'm actually pretty bummed out about? It was on
About
my
something that's gone.
yes, and no, that's exactly it. And it was on my bucket list, and it was the glass slide on the U.S. Bank.
Oh yeah, my
And
friends rode that.
really,
Yeah, you've got guts if you were going to do that. I mean, I think it only lasted when they were on it. I think she said it was maybe 5 seconds they were actually on it for.
right?
But yeah, I saw that. That would you know what? I bet you something bigger will even come along.
Yeah. I mean, for those who don't know what we're talking about, can you explain a little bit about what that is?
Gosh, I can't remember what story it was on, but yeah, there was I think it was a bank building in downtown LA where they built a glass slide that might have gone maybe 2 to 3 stories down onto the next level, but pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that was U.S. Bank, but of course it had a distinction. It had broken some record, maybe the highest glass slide on a skyrise, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I wonder. So it is gone. I wonder if they actually took the slide away. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it says the Sky Slide, U.S. Bank Tower, a pulse quickening attraction at downtown LA U.S. Bank Tower, where guests forked over a $25 observation deck admission fee to carrying down a glass enclosed chute affixed to the side of the second tallest skyscraper in LA. It says it will not reopen after, and then it just continues on. I wonder why.
Yeah, I wonder why. Did it not generate enough money? Was it not spectacular enough? I'll have to ask my friend. But yeah, I didn't do it, but I remember friends doing it.
Yeah, I think when I went out there to LA, like they had the slide like still visible, but I think they covered it. And it's like I look at it, I'm like, dang, because you go outside
It's massive.
yeah, you go outside the building, you're just like above the whole city, and you feel like the glass is gonna break. I'm assuming, like I haven't done it, but I can tell like the fear on my side is just like, dude, it'll be so crazy and so thrilling.
I can't. I could never.
Yeah.
You couldn't pay me to do that.
Ah, man, that is so intense. So, and it's crazy because it's not things that I get bummed about that are like getting created. It's the things that are getting taken away.
No, no doubt. And believe me, when I my first drafts of the book had a ton of nostalgia in it.
Mm-hmm.
And there is. I mean, that's the one thing. Sometimes these events or these landmarks you take for granted may not be there, especially with the rate of development now. It may not be there a year from now.
Yeah.
Right.
So when you can experience it, yeah, go out and do it. I don't know if for $25 for 5 seconds is worth it, but maybe.
I mean, you never know. I mean, now that no one else can ride it, it was probably worth $25. Like, hey, I've went on the slide on the tallest or the second tallest building in LA, and you can't do that. So $25.
I'm trying to think of something as daring as that to do. But, maybe for someone is learning, I don't know, having a dance lesson for the first time, and that could be something daring.
Well,
one thing that, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So here's a cool thing that I've read upon. LA does it and Las Vegas does it. And it's a little inappropriate, it's kind of funny, but basically, you know how people want to join the High Mile Club, whatever?
Oh, are you really going to take me there?
No.
Oh.
But listen, so you can pay to be in a plane, like your own private plane for, 45 minutes to an hour and a half. And you don't have to do anything, but it's a private tour, like you fly around LA.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. They do that with helicopters, too.
Yeah, they probably do. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure they do. I just thought it was really cool because
a little more dangerous than a helicopter, though.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been in a helicopter. I've been on a plane before, but I've been on a commercial plane. I haven't been on like a small private plane.
I know. Me too. You're looking for some adventure, I hear. You're looking really for one thing I've always wanted to do, and hopefully I'll get a chance to do it. Is I've never parasailed, and that's something I want to do.
Parasail, huh?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, I know what that is, but I never found like an interest in it because I don't know. I like being on the ground, even though I just talked about doing this stuff.
You're like, I want to go on a slide, hundreds and hundreds of feet up. I want to get up on a helicopter. But I think also after the year, the 2 years we've come out at, I feel you. Like I feel that
you're more grounded, right?
You just really you just want to live too at the same time. I mean, when I went out and started researching the book, it was just we were in lockdown for months, and it was exciting, but also, a little nerve-wracking to head out and see what had become of the city I love. I think that was one of the main things I was concerned about. Like, will the city come back to life? And of course, it did. But those first few months, like you see it now, especially if you just go to, a tourist location like the Observatory or Hollywood Boulevard, you're seeing hundreds of people out again. But when I was going to photograph it, a year and a half ago, it was different. So there was hope, but everyone felt hopeful, right? And they definitely do now. If you go, have you been to Grand Central Market downtown?
No, I have not.
No, I have not.
Okay, you guys will love that. Go on an empty stomach and just hit like 5 food stands. But it's got this wonderful energy. It's been, when did it open? I don't know exact date, but it's also over by Angel's Flight, which is a little, I'm not going to pronounce it right, but it's like a little train that goes up and down just to the next street. And there's all the new museums, like the Broads there and Disney Hall. But in Grand Central Market, it's all these little eateries. It used to be, more produce than food stands. bunch of neon. And we were just there recently, right after the holidays, and everyone, I've never experienced LA so happy, except on the dance downtown LA night. But there was just this, it was sunny out. It was, the new year was approaching, and it was one of those moments that I just sat there and looked at my friend like, I love this place. I just love Los Angeles. And then we went ice skating over just a few blocks away, even though I think it was 85 degrees outside.
See,
but again, Los Angeles, 85 degrees, but ice skating outside.
Anything can happen in LA.
Yes.
That's the city of possibilities, right? All right, you guys, it is 7:30. We are going to be taking a quick 5-minute break, but when we come back, we're going to be talking more about beautiful LA. And we want to thank Tina for coming on. I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Can you help us out?
The last name's Apellis, or if you're Filipino, you would probably say Apellis.
Apellis.
So.
Okay, awesome. Well, we'll be right back, guys. You're listening to whatever.
From the Bureau of Economic Geology, this is Earth Date. You may remember that our magnetic field forms a protective bubble around the Earth called the magnetosphere. It keeps solar winds and cosmic rays from scouring away the atmosphere and protects spacecraft, satellites, astronauts, and air travelers. But where does the magnetic field come from? The inner core of the Earth is very, very hot, about 6,000 degrees centigrade, the same as the surface of the Sun. At that temperature, you'd expect it to be a liquid or even a gas. But because the pressure at the core is so extraordinary, about 2 million times what's on the surface, the inner core stays solid. In fact, it's 85% solid iron. The outer core of the Earth is also mostly iron, but because the pressure is lower, it's liquid. As lighter elements at different temperatures gradually rise through the liquid iron, they cause convection currents to form, like cream swirling in your coffee. Meanwhile, the Earth's rotation causes spinning eddies to develop. This somewhat organized circulation of liquid metal creates electric currents, which charge the Earth's iron core, turning it into a giant electromagnet. The magnetic field in the core is thought to be more than 10 times stronger than on the surface, and strong enough to extend 400,000 miles into space, which is what allows it to protect us from the hazards of space. I'm Scott Tinker, and thanks for listening to Earth Date.
Earth Date is produced by the Bureau of Economic Geology at the University of Texas at Austin. Earth Date is researched by Julie Hennings, written by Harry Lynch, and distributed by Mark Blunt and Casey Walker. For more stories, follow us on Facebook or visit earthdate.org.
You've eaten lots of great food and not so great food at restaurants. Cowboy Burgers in Fontana and now on Arlington and Riverside will fast become one of your favorites with their delicious, mouth-watering burgers and breakfast burritos. Cowboy Burgers and Barbecue also serves fantastic smoked barbecue baby back ribs, tri-tip, chicken, pulled pork sandwiches, as well as lunch and dinner plates. Everything is made from scratch, including their delicious side dishes like coleslaw, potato salad, barbecue beans, and much, much more. Check out their rich, decadent chocolate brownies.
Hi, I'm food critic Alan Borgen, and you can dine in, take food out, or have them cater your next special event. I highly recommend Cowboy Burgers and Barbecue at their new location at 5573 Arlington Avenue in Riverside. Just look them up on the internet. That's Cowboy Burgers and Barbecue. Happy eating!
And perfect for the holidays, Cowboy Burgers and Barbecue is also available for catering. That's Cowboy Burgers and Barbecue in Fontana and now in Riverside on Arlington.
Bob Vila here with my home improvement tip of the day. Has a pint-sized major league prospect in your neighborhood recently hit a home run through your bedroom window? Here are some tips for fixing it. Once you have your gloves and goggles on, remove the broken shards by pulling them toward you. That way, if a shard breaks, the splinters will go the other way. Scrape and sand the frame of the sash where the new pane will fit. Then run a bead of latex caulk around the frame. That'll provide a good cushion for the glass and also help make the window weather tight. To help you position the glass, just grasp a short length of duct tape in the middle, forming a tab. Then stick the tape onto the glass. That'll function as a temporary handle. Once you have the new pane in place, open your glazing compound. Remove a lump with your putty knife. Then roll it on a flat surface until it looks like a length of rope. Set it next to the edge of the glass and use the putty knife to smooth it out. Once you add a few more lengths of glazing compound around the window, you'll be done. Get more info at bobvila.com and right here at home with me, Bob Vila.
Hi, Dr. Marissa here. You know me as the Asian Oprah and the host of my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa. And I have some great news. I just got told I have the morning slot here at KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind, every Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 a.m. So I can't wait to talk at you so that you know your birthright to be happy 88% of the time. Tune in to KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Tagline for a second.
No negative news.
No negative news, no politics, just feel good music. That was a weird blank. We are here with Tina. She wrote the 52 Things to Do in Los Angeles. Really good book. I read a few pages from it, and I just want to drive to LA right now. And Tina, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
One of the, I think this is probably my most favorite place to ever go, and it just happens to be in LA, and it's the Griffith Observatory.
Oh, yes. When was the first time you went? I'm so curious.
The first time I went, I was 5 years old.
Okay, and did you think it was purgatory just like I did when I was that age?
No. I couldn't pronounce observatory, so I just kept saying Griffith. And so, I saw Leonard Nimoy at the theater there when back in the day. Rest in peace.
Oh, wow.
And so he was talking about space and his time on Star Trek. It was like an hour show, and I love space. I minored in astrophysics. Space is one of my favorite things. I love going to LA, star watching. My telescope broke, but when I get a new one, I do plan out going to LA.
You know what? Have you been to the Wilson Observatory, or are you a member of the? I can't remember. My husband's actually a member. Where this group that they had meetings. I don't know if they returned to having meetings at the observatory, but they even have sessions where they build telescopes. So that might interest you.
Really?
Yeah, I'll get that information for you. But yeah, I remember going. Well, I live down the street from the observatory. I'm pretty spoiled in that respect. But yeah, the kid me in the observatory and the adult me, or rather even the parent me at the observatory, it just, it's different every time. And it's exciting.
It is exciting.
And that's a good people watching spot.
It is very good people watching spot. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, have you hiked up or have you mostly driven up to the observatory?
I've driven up. I've hiked around the observatory, but I've never hiked up. I want to hike up one of these times. I feel like that'd be a really cool experience. Yeah,
there's quite a few ways to get up there, and I think sometimes they even do nighttime hikes. But yeah, it's a gift that sometimes I forget it's on the hill, except when I see the traffic going there.
Yeah.
For sunset or for any major star event. But for me, of course, I grew up, or I've been going there since I was a kid, but I had never been to the Wilson Observatory, surprisingly. It took this book to go there. Have you been there? It's in the San Gabriel Mountains. So you have to take the Angeles National Forest, that highway that's that makes me really nervous, but I did it.
Yeah, there's a lot of winding roads. And back in the day, they didn't have guardrails either.
I know, and I do not like driving it. I know a lot of people do it just fine and go to the snow all the time, but yeah, I'd rather someone drive me there.
Right. I've been to Wilson Observatory, I think, a couple times, but I try to go to the Griffith Observatory at least twice a year.
Oh, I love. And is there specific occasions you go? Do you go for one of the major events where there's a wolf moon or an eclipse? Or?
Dang, that'd be such a good place to go.
I think I've went to wolf moon once. but I prefer to go when it's not really that busy because parking sucks. But if I do end up hiking there, I think I'd like to go to one of those events if I could just hike up there.
Yeah, and
I
well,
feel
let
like
me
it'd be
give you a
nice.
tip because there is the observatory shuttle that can take you from. You can park down by the Greek,
Oh right.
or you can park in in the neighborhood, and you can even visit. You can visit Figaro. It's on Vermont, so you can go have your French onion soup too, and then grab the shuttle, which, gosh, I think it's just $1. Maybe it might be even 75 cents and the shuttle runs till 10.
Oh
So
wow.
you can really have a night out, and we have really great bars in the neighborhood too.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, but what do you think of, since it expanded? I think it was a few years ago, or more than a few years ago, where they added the other floor beneath.
Oh right.
And
Yes.
Yeah. I love everything. I can't pinpoint a single part above one another. Like everything is just amazing. Every time I go, like I learn something new, even though I've been there 1,000 times. It's just like, and then of course people watching is always fun.
My favorite part is and I'm blanking on the name of it, the thing in the middle, right when you enter.
That clock or that
The
swinging
pendulum.
pendulum?
The
Yeah,
pendulum
the
is my
pendulum clock.
favorite.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's
it
very
is.
iconic, yes.
It's so, my mom has this new goal since we went back there. Is she wants to be on that Leonard Nimoy wall where you have to give a certain amount of money.
Oh yes.
That's
Yeah.
what she wants. She said, "I want my name here." I said, "Okay, then you'll have to spend some money to get your name on this wall."
I'm sure it's a pretty penny, right?
I'm sure, but it is the Leonard Nimoy wall. I mean,
Yeah.
where else can you be on a Leonard Nimoy wall, or could be cooler than being
Exactly.
on a wall in the Griffith Observatory?
Leonard Nimoy and Neil deGrasse Tyson. Both those guys are my heroes. Carl Sagan. I have all of his books. It's just space. I can't get enough of it. I want to end up going back and probably getting my master's, or
Do it.
yeah, in astrophysics, or just maybe even just astronomy. Just have fun.
Have you ever written Neil? Have you written a fan letter ever, just to reach out, or have you had the opportunity to see him in person?
I have not. But that's
Neither
one of
have
my,
I, but I was curious.
Yeah. One of my uncles has a signed book from Carl Sagan.
That's probably worth money now, huh?
Yeah. And so he doesn't want to give it to me. I was like, please give it to me. And he says, I'll maybe add it in my will for you. I was like, yeah.
Is there anyone you have to fight with to get that?
No,
Do you have competition?
I'm first in line. I'll be at his house. I'll be there.
Looking at your book, one thing that I really like about this book is each page, obviously it has places to go, but it says why to go, where to go, and when to go. And I think that's very important because there's probably certain times during the year where like that's where the festivals happen, or that's where like the biggest events happen. And I really enjoyed looking at this book. And I marked about 5 places. Honestly, for everyone who's listening now, these 52 things to do in LA can be a part of your bucket list. Like this is something that it's a different experience, and all these are different experiences, and you can just add them onto your bucket list. If you don't have one, you should definitely start with this book. The very first one I think is really cool. I want to take my family, and it's called Cycle Down Car-Free Streets During the Ciclavia.
Yes, Ciclavia. Oh, it's coming up. There's one that's happening in the Valley in February, so that's a good opportunity to come out for that, for sure.
Yeah, so it's basically a neighborhood where there's no cars at all on the streets, and everyone has like their bikes and I just see bikes.
Scooters. This one you'll love. The most recent one we did the Hollywood one, and I kid you not, there was a cart with a 4-person band on it in the back.
That's amazing.
So yeah, one bike pulled a band, and we also, you'll see things like there was an armadillo. There's just I think when there was a dining table that was being pulled, it's really,
wow.
really. I mean, these were this was the holiday one, the Hollywood one rather. But each time you can really, you can just really just be whoever you want. And yeah, and it's not just bikes, but it's really amazing. You know, when you take time to just open the streets for everyone, and whether you want to walk or the kids really are great during Cyclavia. They just take over.
Yeah.
I mean, they ride like they really own the streets. But it's everyone's super courteous, and there's always sort of guerrilla entertainment off the sides. I can't wait for you to experience it. Please tag me so I can see your pictures when you do.
Oh, definitely.
But I think it was one of my best dates with my husband, you know, in a relationship that's been going for 22 years, that's one of the highlights.
Wow. Way to keep the spark alive, huh?
Yes. I actually met him. See, this is one of the benefits of, just like you guys, obviously, you talk, you ask a lot of questions. I think this is a good city to do that. I actually met my husband interviewing people on the street. Well, he was in a store, but I met him on Melrose when I was just doing an article. So you really don't know what might happen if you open yourself up to a new experience or a person that you meet at any of these locations or just from the day-to-day.
Yeah, so I'm going to name off my top five places I want to visit LA, and it's the car-free streets. I want to see the all-female mariachi bands, which, hint, hint, whoever's listening. I want to ride a swan boat. I always thought that was cool because I saw like 10 Things I Hate About You. It's kind of like the same thing. You know, they're in the little boats paddling along. I thought that was really cool. I wanted to do that. Check out the LA jazz scene. So one of my favorite types of music is like 50s, 60s, and like I think jazz is a very important music genre in the music industry. So I always wanted to go to like a jazz place.
You got to go to New Orleans with me.
Oh, New Orleans.
Yeah,
the jazz capital of the world.
Yes, and then another thing, like one of the biggest things on my bucket list, because we're in California, I want to hit basically all three geographic areas in one. So like I want to start off in the desert and go riding, and then I want to end up in the mountains and do something in the snow, and then I want to end at the beach playing in the sand and watching the sunset. And on number 45 it says play in the snow and the sand on the same day. So that's already on my bucket list, and it tells you where to go and when to go. And it actually says early February around 9 a.m.
Yes,
so I can.
This is good timing for you.
Yes, it is. I think you saved my year, honestly. So if people want to reach out and like buy this book, how can they reach out to you? How can they get this book on their hands?
Well, you can get it at any retailer. Just ask for it. Or, if you want to support your local bookseller, you can go to bookshop.org and it'll look up your local bookstore for you. You can order or support one that way. I mean, certainly now these indies can use your help more than ever. Right. But I understand going online, it's super convenient. But, whatever way you want to pick it up. And if you want to see some other articles I've written about the city, I'm at tinapellis.com. That's with 2 E's, if it's okay for me to shout my website out.
Yeah, of course. And then it says, get your photo taken by a local legend.
Yes, that's a very insider one. Okay. Gary Leonard. He's been photographing the city, I guess, since 1960. And he's one of, how you do Where's Waldo? You have to look and find him in a picture. Mm-hmm. He's kind of the live version of that. If you're at a major city event, look for him. He's usually wearing.
Look for Gary Leonard.
Yeah, he's he's wearing an adventure vest, and I have a couple pictures of him in the book. But he had a long running column. First in LA Weekly, and then LA Reader, and now shoots for different publications. But he really captures the city like no one else. Like security guards in the intersection or shop owners, readings at local bookstores. But he also, of course, photographed the mayor for many years and other city leaders. He's just, check out his work. Oh, and he took one of the most magnificent pictures on top of now the largest building, the tallest building in Los Angeles, the Wilshire
Wilshire, right? Or
Grand.
is it Wilshire?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can see that he captured some of the construction crew on the top of that.
Yeah, I saw that. That was actually really cool.
That's crazy.
I can't imagine. That's giving me a heart attack just looking at it.
Yeah.
But I know I love this list. I can't wait for you to experience it. I have to do it. I have to do them all again and again. And if you're gonna do the Swan Boat, do both Lake Balboa and Echo Park Lake because they're very different experiences.
I will definitely check them out. I thank you so much for coming on our
Thank
show.
you.
Yes, and
I
again,
really appreciate your time.
yes, and one more time, just so that people can reach out and contact you if they wanted to.
Yeah, for my TinaApellis.com, that's TEENA, the last name spelled APELES.com, or you can find me on Instagram or Twitter, and I'd love, if you buy the book or if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I am happy to give recommendations whenever I can, and I also love to hear other people's adventures.
Yes, if
Definitely getting a book.
I'll be going to all these places and taking pictures and tagging you in them, just so you know that this is now part of my bucket list.
That's gonna be a
Yeah,
thing.
do like a 52 things challenge, so 52 things LA.
Hey,
but yeah,
that'll
I'd love
be
to thank you
awesome.
in person sometime. So
I like that.
I
Okay.
look forward to it.
I do too.
All
Well,
right, have a good night.
thank you
You
guys.
too.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
All right, you guys. That was Tina with 52 things to do in Los Angeles. If you guys are very interested, follow her, add her, and get her book. It has pictures, places to go, when to go, why you should go, the timing that you should go. It's amazing. I'm going to be going to a lot of these places, actually all of these places now.
Yeah, let's go.
And let's
Whatever
start it.
works challenge.
Yes, sir. So until next week, guys, stay tuned. We got Ferran coming in right now at 8 o'clock. Stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned.
And you guys are listening to Whatever Works on KCAA. I'm Sam Works.
I'm Kyle Kerrigan.
And we are logging off. See you guys next week. And drive safe, guys.
We can't be everything to everyone, or can we? The state